The bride thought she was about to humiliate her fiancé's pregnant ex by making her sing at the wedding, but when the music began, her song exposed a secret no one was ready to hear. Stay till the end, because what happens next will leave you speechless. Welcome back to Black Inside 2.0, the home of powerful true-style emotional stories that touch hearts and open minds. If you love stories that remind us of grace, strength, and unexpected redemption, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon, because every story here has a message that will stay with you forever. The ballroom glowed with golden chandeliers and roses everywhere, red, deep, and endless, the color of passion, pride, and sometimes pain. Elena, the bride, stood at the center of it all. Dressed in an ivory suit, sharp and elegant, she looked like the picture of confidence. But behind that calm smile, her heart was beating with something darker, a need to prove a point. Because in the front row sat Naomi, the woman Elena could never forget. Not because of friendship, not because of love, but because Naomi was the ex of Elena's soon-to-be husband, Michael. And not just that, Naomi was pregnant with Michael's child. The crowd whispered when she walked in, wearing a simple red dress that fell gracefully over her baby bump. She didn't hide her condition, didn't look away, didn't shrink. She walked with quiet dignity, and that made Elena's chest burn with something she couldn't explain. To everyone, Naomi's presence was a mystery. Why invite her? But Elena knew exactly why. She wanted Naomi to see what she'd lost, and what Elena had won. The invitation that shocked everyone. 2 weeks before the wedding, Naomi had received a white envelope with her name written in gold. Inside, a formal invitation. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Elena Moore and Michael Carter. At first, she laughed softly. Why would they want me there? But then, a handwritten note at the bottom caught her eye. It would mean a lot to Michael if you could sing for us that day. After all, he always said your voice was unforgettable. Naomi sat with the note for a long time. Part of her wanted to ignore it. Part of her wanted to prove she wasn't broken. So she said yes, because sometimes, silence is the most powerful answer. The wedding begins. When Naomi entered the hall, heads turned. Her red gown flowed like courage. Michael froze when he saw her. A flash of guilt passed through his eyes, but Elena quickly held his hand tighter. Relax, she whispered, this is my day. The ceremony began beautifully. The vows, the laughter, the applause, it was perfect. Until Elena turned toward Naomi and spoke into the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special guest. The woman who once held my husband's heart. Let's welcome Naomi, who will now sing for us. The audience gasped. Naomi slowly stood up. Her eyes met Elena's, calm, steady, unbroken. She walked to the center of the stage, took the mic, and smiled gently. The music began, soft piano chords echoing through the hall. The song that changed everything. Naomi's voice filled the air like sunlight breaking through clouds. It wasn't just a song, it was a story. Her story. She sang about love that was true but mistimed, about promises that faded, about the beauty of forgiveness. Every word carried emotion, not anger, not shame, but peace. Sometimes the heart must break, she sang softly, so it can make room for something new. The audience fell silent, even Elena's proud smile began to fade. Because as Naomi sang, something unexpected happened. Tears filled Michael's eyes. He wasn't crying for guilt. He was crying because he remembered the late nights, the laughter, the dreams he once shared with Naomi. And for the first time, Elena felt unsure. The truth hidden in the song. As Naomi's song built toward its final verse, her voice trembled, not with fear, but with truth. She placed a hand on her stomach and looked straight at Michael. You told me love means never hiding what we've made together. Whispers ran through the room. Elena turned pale. Michael stood suddenly, realizing what Naomi had done. She hadn't come to destroy the day. She came to tell the truth, in the most graceful way possible. Naomi looked at the crowd and smiled softly. This child, she said, was born out of love, and I will raise them with kindness even if that love didn't last. The hall went quiet again. No one clapped, no one whispered, everyone just felt. The bride's realization. After Naomi walked back to her seat, the air in the room changed. Elena's carefully built walls began to crack. She looked at Michael, his face full of guilt and tenderness. And for the first time, she saw what she'd been ignoring. Love isn't something you win by taking. It's something you earn by understanding. When it was time to say her vows, Elena's hands trembled. Her voice wavered. I thought today was about showing the world that I'd won, she said quietly. But maybe, love isn't about winning. The audience held their breath. "Naomi," she said, turning toward the woman in red, "I invited you to humiliate you. But today, you taught me more about strength than I've ever known." Gasps filled the room. Naomi smiled faintly, forgiving without words. The unexpected end. After the ceremony, people gathered around Naomi, not to gossip, but to thank her for her courage. Michael approached her, looking lost between two worlds. "Greater than, Naomi. I didn't know she'd do that," he whispered. Naomi nodded. "It doesn't matter anymore, Michael. I'm moving forward, you should too." Her tone wasn't bitter, it was free. As she turned to leave, Elena stopped her. "Greater than, can I help you with anything?" Naomi looked at her, really looked, and then smiled. "Just be kind," she said softly. "To him, to yourself, and maybe, someday, to me too." And then she walked away, proud, glowing, and peaceful. Months later, 6 months passed. A soft spring morning dawned, and Naomi sat by a window holding her newborn baby, a beautiful little girl with bright eyes. She sang softly to her, the same song she sang at the wedding. At that same moment, across town, Elena listened to that same song, now recorded and viral, titled "The Wedding Song That Forgave Everything." It had touched millions, and as she listened, tears fell again, not from pain this time, but from gratitude. Because even though Naomi had been the one humiliated that day, she had also been the one who healed everyone present. Her voice didn't just fill a wedding hall, it filled hearts, with forgiveness, with courage, and with hope. Sometimes life brings us moments that test our pride, but true strength isn't in revenge, it's in rising above what was meant to break us. Naomi didn't just sing a song, she turned pain into poetry, and showed that grace is the loudest answer to cruelty. If you believe in second chances, in strength through kindness, then let Naomi's story remind you, sometimes the most powerful revenge is peace. This was Black Inside 2.0, stories that heal, inspire, and empower. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share it with someone who believes in forgiveness and love. Because every voice, like Naomi's, deserves to be heard.